Stonecutters Podcast. Aaron Hankins.
Will Catlett.
Will, how
Yo,
you
what
doing,
time is
bro?
it over there? I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
It is 9:58 p.m. on April 1st, 2020. And for those of you that are listening to the podcast, those of you that are watching on YouTube, you already know what Will's got on. But for those of you on the podcast that want to describe Will's got on, it looks like he's getting ready to run for governor or president or some sort
President
of elected
Catlett.
office.
President Catlett, I felt like you got to always dress for success. So I went into my closet and I said, hey, tonight, why not put on a shirt and tie?
You said that you were dressing for where you wanted to go, right?
Dressing for where you wanted to go. I think that's always important. Sweatpants can take places, but sweatpants can't take you all places, So it's important to switch your style up every now and then for where you're going. If I know I'm going to talk to governors or CEOs, I'm not going to wear a sweatsuit unless that is my intention. What's my man name? Mark Zuckerberg, who came in there when he had on his pajamas or whatever about Facebook and all that. But see, he had something that it was still in the vein of people doing stuff online where your clothing didn't matter.
Okay.
So he was still selling. He was just selling in a different way. So if you want to get to the next level, get to the next phase, you have to investigate where you're going. Now, working for Nike may not require a shirt and tie.
All the time.
All the time, because you can be more creative. It's a creative brand. It's into streetwear. It's into sportswear. It's dress up, dress down. You got your casual side. You got your athletic side. You got so many different things. Why do I sound like a governor right now?
It must be the time, man.
It must be the time. You have so many different, you see my hand? You have so many different sides, of the company that you can, be in.
Yeah.
So you can come in with the hoodie, boom, 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 and do it like that.
That's what I'm wearing right now, a hoodie with the sleeves cut off.
Yeah.
But Will, what's new with you, man, since last week? Any updates? What you been doing, man?
Man, I'm coming off the high. The last time we talked, I said I had just finished my class. Now my class is it's not a class. It's a shared experience. My shared experience is now in the editing room.
Okay.
So I'm almost about to birth this baby. Me and my wife, we've been working hard. We've been working late, and we've been pushing and pushing for this baby to come out. And I'm just excited, man. I'm so excited to share it with the world and for people to watch it. I can't wait for the testimonies to come in. That's people say, man, this right here changed my whole perspective. So I am excited about that. But what about you, man? What's been going on? I see the beard growing, the hair's growing. You at home with the wife and the baby. Are you going crazy? So many people saying they just got to get out. They just got to get out. So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Actually, tomorrow morning we're gonna go on a walk, and we're gonna go early. And we're gonna try to go just for a walk in our neighborhood. See if we can walk for maybe 30 minutes, just to get out of the house. But what's been helping me out is creating a to-do list, and not necessarily getting everything done on the to-do list every day, but being able to write things down, go work on something, come back to it, finish it, have it be done. So I'm just grateful for this time right now to be able to spend it with my wife and with my daughter, and getting an opportunity to get a lot of things done that I never had the time to do. And I know that there's a lot of different trains of thought out there about like, okay, this is, this period of time, like you don't have to be super efficient. And then there's other people that are like, oh, we'll take this time to be efficient and do all these different things. But
Right.
what I'm really doing is just like a clean sweep, or it's like spring cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I got accomplished is I had an old coin collection, and I
Mm-hmm.
actually cataloged it and looked up the value of some of the coins and everything like that. And this is like coins that I've been carrying around for like maybe 10 or 15 years. These are like people from my family, they'd pass away and they'd give me these coins, and I'd be like, I don't know what to do with these. So I just always brought them around and took them with me to these different places. And now
Mm-hmm.
I actually have the time to like look at them and see if they hold any value and see if I can do anything with them, because like the period of time that we're in right now, like people are trying to look for new and different ways to think creatively or to make money differently, so I'm just like I'm trying to sort of think outside the box a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So that's good. So what would you say to our listeners on the Stonecutters Podcast who are at that place right now where they're trying to figure it out? They saying, hey, I might not know where the rent is coming from, or this is time for me to explore different things that I wouldn't explore before because I was tied up at a 9 to 5. So how can they get to the core of moving forward in this time?
Well, I think that, and me and you talked about this a little bit, in that people will pay for information. People pay for information.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a trade or a skill right now that is in need, people need to understand it, and they need to be able to use it to be successful in another field, or another experience, then try to find a way to teach other people. And,
Mm-hmm.
through sharing your experience, or providing guidance as a consultant. Like there's a big jump in virtual consultants now, where people can come in
Mm-hmm.
and they can, there's people that you can give them a phone tour of your house, and they can do a design consultancy over just walking through your house, like virtually looking at it onto a phone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's thinking about information, but also thinking about the things that are free to do right now. So as an example, developing a business plan right now is free. Like you find a template online, the research into whatever field that you're interested in to develop a business plan, so that when things do return to some form of normalcy, where we can go outside at some point in the future, you'll have taken this time to develop a business plan to move forward with a business that you want. I have a friend who's interested in purchasing an investment property, and he's taking this time to really hash out the details of the project to see if he wants to do it or if he doesn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some other just super inventive ways is just thinking about things artistically and creatively. Like I have a friend who's a barber, and he's like, yeah, like I've been taking this time to explore painting and explore drawing. And he's like, like when I get back to becoming a barber, like when he can cut hair again, he's just like, I'm trying to figure out how I can make different revenue incomes. And I was like, that you're learning how to draw and sketch and everything. Why don't you, sketch the people after you cut their hair for like charging $3 extra, and you'll give them a sketch. And they're like, oh, well, that's going to take too long. And it's like, you do a 2-minute sketch, and you see how much of a person's face you can sketch in 2 minutes, and you limit yourself in that. And then you become the 2-minute sketch person who develops 2-minute sketches. And you just, how many people's hair do you cut in a day? That's how many
Mm-hmm.
different people that you can create art for. It's thinking like that. It's thinking about writing the story that you've never thought about writing, or the one that you've always dreamt about, or the dream that you had 2 nights ago. It's like, you have your notebook, and you may have written a little bit of that dream down. How about expanding upon it? How about creating a story around that dream? And
Mm-hmm.
seeing where that takes you. Maybe that takes you to writing a novel. Maybe it takes you to writing a comic book. Maybe it takes
Mm-hmm.
you to, you know, any sort of endeavor out there.
That's good. So it's like you don't want to waste this time, but you have to use this time to actually think deeply and to catch the different ideas that may be coming so that you can capitalize later or just to move to another situation.
Yeah. So I'll give our listeners just two examples. There's somebody that I know up here in Beaverton, Oregon. He's trying to get a job at Nike, but in the meantime, he has a sewing machine, and what he's been doing is going to thrift stores and Goodwills, and he's been finding old pieces of Nike that are discarded, basically cheap pieces and everything. And he's been able to tear these apart and tear the logos and take different elements of these discarded garments and recreate them into other pieces of footwear or keychains or bags or wallets. Um, that's one example. And then Will, our friend Kayla in Los
Mm-hmm.
Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
She works at Nike she's a retail athlete, but on one of her many jobs, she also bakes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's taken this time that we're in right now to create sneakers that are cookies that are take home sets. So she bakes these cookies. They're miniature cookies in the shape of sneakers, and she sends you the icings, and she sends you like I think it's 8 cookies, and
Mm-hmm.
it's I'm actually going to get it for Marin here, but it's for a family, and you bring and she mails it to you, and it's got cookies and it has icing in it, and you can decorate sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those business ideas because I think that what she used to do was she would make birthday cakes and she would make
Yeah.
cakes for different functions and she would make all types of baked goods. But now since she can't do that, she needs to find a way to change and adapt her business to
Mm-hmm.
fit with the times that we're in. Another example, the coffee shop that I go to, Dead Stock Coffee in Portland, Oregon, they coffee shops don't really exist anymore. So Ian Williams, the owner of the shop, he makes these signature drinks. Will, you probably had one. It was like a sweet tea and coffee, or there was one that was sweet tea, coffee, and lemonade. And he makes these drinks. And what he did is that he bought these big growlers, and
Mm-hmm.
he fills them up with the different beverages. And now he does home delivery. So he doesn't really sell as much hot coffee anymore, but he sells all these cold drinks, and then he basically delivers them, all throughout the community because it's just like he just had to find a way to adapt and to change his business.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's just thinking creatively, and it's thinking about how to get it. People still need things in this time. It's just trying to find out how that you can sort of fulfill those needs and satisfy those needs when people still need things.
Right. That's so good, Aaron, because it's you can find yourself like with my industry, as an artist, there's no work. So what it seems like there's no work right now and everything's on hold. So even in myself, I have to adapt. I have to figure out things that I can do that not only will generate income, but also will be of service to the people that they may need. So I think the key in that is adaptability. You got to adapt. So I don't want people to get stuck in their mind of what am I going to do? Because if you have the idea in your mind of what am I going to do, you're not going to think about the things that Aaron is saying. You're not going to pivot to open your mind up to the possibilities of what could be possible in this time right now.
I think it really takes like a deep reflection into yourself and to think about the things that you do the best or the things that you like to do and how you can exploit them in this time. And you
Mm-hmm.
can really take advantage of them and you can find ways to utilize them. And for the things that you don't do very well, this is also a great time to polish up on those skills. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like for me personally, with some of the work that I'm doing, um, with my profession, I'm doing a lot of LinkedIn learning right now. So I'm taking a lot of time to learn courses online about like mindfulness, decision making, prioritizing, things
Mm-hmm.
that are mental because for me those are things where I believe that I need to get better at, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's like putting the pencil in the sharpener. It's you got to make sure you get sharp because when this thing passes, it's gonna be time to run, and you don't want to be trying to play catch up. So speaking about that to-do list, also bringing things back when Aaron and I always talk about writing things down and putting them in your journal. Write the vision down and make it plain so you can go back to maybe page 5 in your journal, which you didn't complete in December 2015, and push that thing up to what's going on right now, because you may have the time and you have the energy to put towards that thing right now. And, this is like the cocoon, man. We're in the cocoon. But when we come out, baby, when we come out, we gonna be flying, you know what I'm saying? We can be pollinated, you got to come out and pollinate. So it's and I want our listeners on the Stonecutters Podcast to know, don't lose your joy during this time. Whatever you lost, you didn't need. Now, when I come to, that's material that I'm speaking of. Now, of course, the people who lost family members and stuff like that, our hearts go out, to everyone, and you have our condolences on that. But things as far as material, sometimes you gotta adapt. You might gotta sell that car. You might have to sell something that you don't really need, or you can get back at a later date. The thing is, it's about moving forward, constantly moving forward progression. Do not get stuck in, I don't have, what am I going to do, and be stuck in fear. This is the time to be creative. This is the time to do the best that you can to evaluate your situation. Me and my wife are always evaluating, okay, how much is going to this? How much is going to that? Okay, what can we do? And then we let God do the rest. I talk to my boy Aaron all the time, because not just on the podcast, but when we talk before we get on, I'm bouncing things off of him like a sounding board so that I can have the best ideas or the best solution that I can get to be successful.
Will, so we were talking before the podcast, we were also talking about helping out the community.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, like, in this time, like, it's also a great opportunity, whether it's making masks or home delivery, or just reaching out to family members that you maybe haven't spoken to in a while. But like, there's all these different opportunities to help out in the community. And I wanted to highlight 2 of them that I've been made aware of. One of them is called Ask a Scientist, and it's a online program where people that are in the math and sciences field, they can submit their name, and they can actually get video conferenced into a virtual classroom with a bunch of students, all different age groups and all different age ranges. Because people are all at home right now, this is a great opportunity for people like myself, people in other industries, to share what they know and how they got to where they got to sort of inspire the future. That's one. And then some other community work that I wanted to highlight that we had talked about is that I just was made aware that Nike out here in Beaverton, and also our facility that we have in St. Louis, they're both making medical masks for the local hospitals in the Portland and in the St. Louis area, to help with sort of the lack of medical equipment for PPE, sort of the stuff to protect people against the virus and whatnot. So.
Yeah, that's powerful. So you kind of like, you want to get in where the need is needed. So, and this is also, what I've been doing. I've been asking a lot of people, a lot of my friends here, like, what do you need? Don't be in pride. If you need groceries, if you can't pay for groceries, call me. We can figure it out. We can get a group of us together and make sure that you got what you need. So this is a good time to be of service, and just to, stretch of your comfort zone and ask for what you need. And if you don't personally need something and you have an overflow, give. Give, because someone may need, even if it's not monetary, it may just be, hey, we're going to get through this. How you doing? Yeah. I had such a good time, because I'm not really on Facebook, and I had such a good time when I got on there today, and I was going through people with, the little green but knows that they're online. And so some people that I haven't talked to in a long time or seen in a long time. And I was just, hey man, how's it going? I was just checking in on you, you know? And it was like, yo, first of all, is this you?
Wait a minute, wait. What were you doing on Facebook today? What brought you to log in today of all days?
Well, you know, I was on there and I was just looking at, you know, I was thinking about the class and I was seeing what Facebook had to offer for like ads and stuff like that. If I even wanted to go that route and blah, 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 which I'm probably not going to do. But what happened was it drew me to just look at people that I haven't talked to in a long time. You know, even my biology teacher, you know, I had hit her up and was just like, hey, I miss you. I haven't, you know, I hope all is well, because where I am today is because of this woman, you know, being in class, believing in me, you know, encouraging me, telling me that I'm more than enough and there's something special about you. All these things that I'm doing now is because of the words that she had spoke to me in the 11th grade, I believe. So I was just checking in on her and she was like, oh, you know, I'm talking about a baby. She's like, oh, you're going to be an amazing father. And, you know, I know that you're present. And it just felt good, man. It felt good. And some of the boys that I ain't talked to in a minute, you know, because, you know, they're like, man, you blew up. You ain't heard from you. You know, so it was so it was just good to check in on them and encourage them and to be encouraged and to be honest. One of my boys, Mateen, he was like, so what's up, man? Everything going on? Did you you know, lose any gigs or any gigs put on hold? I was like, I wrote ha ha ha. I said, to be honest with you, I wasn't working anyway, good brother. So I was, you know, I was kind of just chilling, you know what I'm saying? But I said my potential gigs that I had, my seeds that I had in the ground for my potential gigs, you know, they kind of, you know, on pause right now, but all is well. But see, people need to hear the truth because it encourages folks. Because sometimes you think that who you're looking at online, who you're looking at in your circle, you may have a perception to think that they're further along than they really are. And it's really not about them and where they are or where they're going or where they're at. It's about you knowing that you got 2 legs and 2 arms just like that person. So you have the same abilities to get to where they're at and surpass them. You just got to find out what is your gift. What are you supposed to be doing? What is your offer of service to the world? Once you find that, you become like a magnet. Everything just attracts to you. You know, just like us finding out what we love to do. So now we get on here and say, man, nobody's talking about what it's like on your road to being big time. You know, I'm on my road to being a movie star. You on your road to being a creative of Nike, creative of all things, Aaron Town, doing whatever you want to do. You know, I'm there too, but this is my first goal.
Yes.
So I love the Stonecutters podcast because it encourages me. This times in my car when I'm listening to it, like, I needed that. Oh, I needed that. I needed that. I was about to pull over and just, you know, scream for a second. I needed that. So it's good, man. It's so good to, you know, share this journey. And like we said, you know, people pay for information and information is needed. Information gives you the faith that you need to move forward.
Stonecutters Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Stitcher, Google, iTunes. Well, did I leave any out, Will?
Nah, you ain't leave on
Amazon,
iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on
iTunes,
Stitcher.
Stitcher.
We're on Google.
You
We're
can
on
find us.
YouTube.
You can find us on the Stonecutters Podcast. If you have questions, comments, suggestions, you can leave us. You can leave us feedback on the website. You can also send us an email, stonecutterspodcast@gmail.com. Stonecutterspodcast@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
So, Will, let's wrap this up, man. How much information have you been consuming, like, in this like where we are right now, we're talking about people are paying for information and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you get your information from? Are you more of a, you go out and external? Are you more of an internal? Just talk a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a little bit of both. You know what I'm saying? I'm a lot more on the spiritual side because that's information before even the world knows. So I'm always weighing my spirit to see what I should be doing at this particular time and moment. Now, someone may ask, well, how do you do that? I relate it to the pendulum. It's almost like when someone is walking behind you and you turn around, but nobody's there, but somebody was following you. It's the same internal clock that is in you. That's why I call it the pendulum. I try to feel which way that it sways if I'm supposed to be doing something. So that's the first source of information that I gather and that I stand on. The second source is, through my boy Aaron, through it may be CNN, maybe saying something. I mean, the president's been coming on, pretty much every day, to update us on what's been going on. And because you still have to use wisdom and stuff like that too, with the whole social distancing and all that other stuff. But at the same time, there's not a but at the same time. It's just that's kind of where I weigh my information. And my wife, my wife gives me great information. The baby gives me information. The trees give me information.
Are you skeptical at all of any of the information that you receive?
You should be skeptical about every information that you receive. And the reason why I say that is because you have to, everything that comes your way, some things have an agenda. So you have to, for me, I weigh it by my spirit. When something is true and when something's not. It's like, I can be telling you, man, I love you, Aaron. But if it's like, he's saying it, but something's off. And I think you always have to trust that. You have to trust that inner feeling that tells you something's off. And then if you follow it long enough, you'll realize, oh yeah, something's off. It's like for me, I can tell people about relationships. I don't know why God has given me this grace to do this. But if you show me or tell me about your relationship, and you show me a picture of your relationship, I can tell you if it's going to work or not. Just like that, and people can be together I could have told you at year 1, and you may last 5 years, but at year 6, it might not work, but that's just something because how am I able to do that? I'm looking at, I'm scanning information hidden to the natural eye, but you have to always try that information.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't just take anything. If they, for example, if they say, okay, if you got the information from your daughter's daycare, Marin is doing this and she keeps doing it and we don't know why she keeps coloring on the wallpaper and pulling it down and she's licking on it and it's just disturbing the kids. Now, this is the information you're getting, but Marin. And say Marin hates wallpaper, Marin doesn't like putting things in her mouth, for instance, then you're going to say, hold on, wait a minute. Are you sure that this is Marin doing this? So then you might put a body cam on Marin for the next day and to see that, okay, it's not Marin, or it is Marin, So
yes.
It's kind of like that thing.
Get more information.
Get more information, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You?
I'm a skeptic. I think that I'm extremely skeptical about everything where information comes from when I hear it. I think a lot of what you talk about, I think the same way. A lot of it is, for me, it's logic based, but I do have some wild theories about life, but I think we all do. I think that's part of the human experience, is that we all have different viewpoints and different perspectives, and if we're all meant to think a certain way, or if it's that what they say is there's, what is it, 3 sides to every story, the the right way, the wrong way, and then the way that it actually happened, or the
Mm-hmm,
the way this
mm-hmm.
guy said it did in this way, and then the way that it actually did. And it's like, depending on your perspective on any situation, you're going to look at things differently depending on how the information is received. So it's like you hear information and it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is happening, and you're like, okay, who said that? Okay,
Right.
this source is saying that. Okay, and I'm afraid to say this, that it's been within the past 3 or 4 years that I've had to start to think of things more about, like, when we receive a message, it's like, what is the intention behind the message? And like, what are they trying to get us to do? And what are we trying to, even when me and you speak to people, it's really about like, what is the intention that we're trying to get across to people? But when I get news information, or when I get information that you think is factual, or that we have this confidence in it being factual, and in fact, it may not be, or it may
Mm-hmm.
be hearsay, or it may not be from a confirmed source, or things
Right.
of that nature. So it's like, yeah, I would say that I'm a skeptic as well. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how balanced I am. I say that I'm more of a skeptic than I don't even know what the opposite of a skeptic is. A realist
Right.
or a
Mm-hmm.
realist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's all
So
good. I mean, I think smart people, intelligent people, look for the truth.
yeah, absolutely. All right, Will, you got anything to end the podcast with?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We got to reach out. Somebody listen. We got to talk to. I'm gonna give you a name, Caitlin. That's all I'm giving you, Caitlin.
You want me to say something?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want me to say?
Whatever comes to you.
Uh, Caitlin, you're out there, you're listening. If you don't already have a to-do list, write down 1 or 2 things that you think that you can do within the next 2 days, and then see if you can accomplish those things, and see how it makes you feel when you accomplish those things.
Stonecutters Podcast.